Welcome back to every recap ever. As we promised, this is part 2 of the Chinese movie called Iceman. For those who haven't seen part 1, you can find the link in description. Before we start, like and subscribe to our channel for more such amazing recaps. This is a story of 4 friends, Cheng, Niehu, Saw and Ying. They were taken from their village to become the shield for the emperor. They learned martial arts together and shared dreams. However, due to a false accusation, Ying lost everything. He was announced as the traitor who worked with Japanese people to betray the prime minister and Cheng's wife. His village was massacred, where he lost his mom and all family. However, due to an avalanche, he managed to escape. He ended up freezing in the snow and woke up in modern-day Hong Kong. So if you are wondering what this story is about, we recommend watching the first part of the movie. So after the bridge incident, Cheng managed to find Ying. They have actually realized that it was not Ying who betrayed them. Cheng breaks into the prison and even frees Niehu. All this time, Mei is just desperately searching for him. She still has that feeling that Ying is alive. Ying then gets the haircut and finally meets Mei. He tells her that they are going to use the machine and go to their timeline. She is happy for him. However, deep inside she is sad that she won't be able to see him again. They take a selfie as a memory before saying the goodbye. Few days later, Ying, Niehu and Cheng get ready to leave the city. They are basically runaways now, as the whole country is after them. They reach an old cave where they see the time machine. They called it a place where the orb of time is kept. Ying then asks about Saw and they tell him that he didn't make it alive from the bridge incident. They put the linga and Cheng asks Ling to say the secret mantra. In case you don't remember in the previous part, when Ying got the linga from the Indian saint, he also provided a secret mantra to activate the machine. Ling gets a little suspicious of this scene, so the guys have no option but to resort to the last option. They bring in Mei and threaten Ying to say the phrase. He has no option left but to say the phrase and suddenly the machine starts. Cheng and Niehu jump in the center and teleport back. However, the shockwave from the machine collapses the cave and now Ying and Mei are stuck in there. They try every trick to escape from the cave but it fails. Suddenly, Ying sees the linga stuck on the wall and they decide to go back in time. They start the machine and end up in some kind of train. Some Japanese men are trying to capture the Chinese spies and Ying helps them. Just for knowledge, it's a real incident and they added this as an Easter egg. So they time travel again and this time Ying reaches into some unknown plane. He gets the hallucination of seeing the Indian saint and he suggests him to take the right path. Ying looks ahead and sees the 2 paths. Thinking about the advice, he chooses the right path. He then finds Mei, who has landed in a different place. He informs her that they have landed on the right time this time. They then meet the people from Ying's village. The villagers wonder about his hairstyle and he just makes up an excuse that it is something he adapted from the west side. They then return to their village and his mom gets very happy seeing him. Apparently Ying has a childhood friend who seems to like him. I mean, the whole village knows that she is head over heels for him. Oh, and let me tell you, Mei is jealous. So the village throws a celebration for the return of Ying. They drink all night and Mei even shows the other ladies some of the things from the future. They are unable to comprehend the products, but they still enjoy using them. Ying tries to talk to the village head that they should move the people from the village. Basically, he wants to protect them as he knows that the village is going to get attacked. However, the chief just ignores his words. One day, a familiar face returns to the village. Saw. He is still alive. Apparently, the events that lead to the trapping in snow hasn't happened yet. Ying initially thinks he is there to fight him, but he hugs him as a long-lost friend. He later tells Ying that the prime minister has invited him for dinner for all his achievements. Meanwhile, Cheng and Niehu have a meeting with a certain Japanese general. They plan a big invasion of the empire and for this help, the general offers Cheng to make him the emperor. Apparently, they both are spies for the Japanese people. On the other hand, Saw gets the same haircut as Ying to match his vibe.
Same, but different.
Ying asks Saw to protect the village tonight, as it might be attacked by some bandits. He then starts getting ready to leave for dinner. If you've forgotten, this was the night when Cheng's wife gets eliminated and the prime minister dies. He bids farewell to Mei and his childhood friend. He reaches the prime minister's house and for some reason Cheng is also present there. Meanwhile, Saw returns from his hunt and sees the Japanese general and Niehu giving the orders to the bandits. Apparently they are planning to destroy the village. Saw goes to confront Niehu but he just attacks him. He couldn't believe that the friend he thought of as a brother is actually betraying the empire. After an intense fight, Niehu manages to eliminate Saw. Yeah, he feels bad for doing it, but the greed for power is more important to him right now. Oh, and the Japanese general just enjoys seeing them fight. Okay, so Ying tries to convince the minister that the emperor is still young and he shouldn't use the machine yet. He even warns that sometime later the Japanese are going to attack the empire, so they should get ready for the attack. One thing to note here, Ying still doesn't know that Cheng and Niehu are actually the spies of Japanese people. Minister misunderstands Ying, thinking he must be the spy. He then orders his people to corner Ying. However, instead of eliminating Ying, they shoot the minister. Chung then attacks his wife and ends her life. Ying finally realizes that it was Chung all along. He did all of this and put all the blame on him. Chung then asks Ying to come tomorrow at the palace with the Linga and join hands with him. If he doesn't do so, he will put all the blame on him and the same history will repeat itself. Meanwhile, Ying's village gets attacked and bandits literally destroy everything. They even take the life of all villagers, including Ying's mother. Mei also gets attacked and she falls on a roof. However, she accidentally drops the Linga before fainting. It then gets picked up by the Nyehu. He then comes and gives the Linga to Chung. Now they only need Ying and his mantra to activate the machine again. Ying returns to his village and finds everything destroyed. He literally breaks down seeing the scene. Ying then tries searching for Mei and fortunately she made it alive due to falling on the roof. The next day he does all the funeral for the villagers and leaves with Mei. They then come to the palace where Chung is waiting. The vice emperor is also there and he thinks the plan is orchestrated by Ying. Chung then asks him to chant the mantra and let everyone witness the machine. Suddenly the Japanese general comes to the palace and Ying starts fighting with him. After an intense fight, he hears a gunshot. Apparently, Chung shoots Mei and she is on the verge of dying. However, before closing her eyes, she finally tells him about her feelings for him. Ying asks Chung to let him go to the future and in return he will activate the machine for him. After saying the mantra, the machine again starts. Ying then kicks Chung and he falls outside the machine. He tries to get back, but the force is so massive that he couldn't. Apparently, the Japanese general is also now stuck in the machine with Ying. They start fighting again and they apparently reach the same train from 1920. They both then fight in the train in front of many people. Meanwhile, Chung just can't accept the fact that his plan failed. He tries saying the activation mantra, but he makes a lot of mistakes. The machine then becomes unstable, so as the timeline in the train. Don't ask me how, but the whole train literally goes through some weird dimension. As Chung continues to say the mantra wrong, the timeline shifts and now the fighters end up in some kind of limbo. It is a weird dimension, where the rules of time don't seem to apply. Meanwhile, the vice emperor realizes the main culprit is actually Chung. Even the emperor sees him doing these wrong deeds. They ask him to surrender. However, Chung just refuses and tries again to chant the mantra. Nyehu shoots him and eliminates him. He was basically sick of taking Chung's orders. Even though he didn't like taking the life of his friend, it was the right thing to do. Meanwhile, Ying is still fighting the general. After an intense fight, he gets the upper hand. However, the general stabs him from behind. He is on the verge of death. In his final moment, he chants the mantra and he travels to the familiar scene from before. Ying again sees the Indian saint. He again says the same thing to take the right path. Ying realizes what he meant was to take the path which Ying feels right. This time he walks to the left side and the incident which happened suddenly starts rewinding. It rewinds to a point where everyone who died gets their life back. Movie ends with Ying arriving on horse and finally defeating the Japanese general. He then lands at the time when he got the Linga, and this time he decides to hide the machine from everyone. So why did he do it? I mean, everyone is behind the time machine. If he hides the fact that he never found the machine in the first place, he can avoid all the outcomes. However, doing this Mei will forget ever meeting Ying. This is the price he pays to make everything right. So there you have it. This is the end of the two-part movie, Iceman. I hope you enjoyed the video, so drop a like and subscribe to our channel to show your support. We will see you in the next video. See ya!